Have you ever wondered why, even after a long, refreshing shower, a faint urine-like smell seems to linger on your body? Or why so many older women, despite their best hygiene habits, still struggle with unwanted odors that hurt their confidence? And what if the real culprit isn't aging itself, but a few small daily habits no one warned you about? If you're over 60, this issue might feel both surprising and frustrating. But the truth is, you're not alone, and more importantly, it's not your fault. Many older women experience this challenge, and it's often caused by simple hygiene mistakes that most of us don't even realize we're making. These habits may seem harmless, but over time, they quietly work against us. In today's video, I'll walk you through 7 common mistakes that might be undermining your freshness and confidence without you even knowing it. These missteps can leave you feeling uncomfortable, self-conscious, and unsure of how to fix the problem. But once you understand what's really going on, you'll see just how easy it is to take control again. So please stay with me until the end. You're going to uncover practical, eye-opening insights and learn doctor-recommended solutions designed to help you feel clean, comfortable, and confident throughout your golden years. These tips have helped countless women, and I promise you'll wish someone had told you about them sooner. Before we begin, if you find this video helpful, please give it a like. It really supports the channel and helps spread valuable wisdom for aging well. And if you haven't already, I invite you to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss out on important tips for healthy living in later life. If this video resonates with you, comment 1 below. If not, feel free to comment 0. Your feedback helps me create better content just for you. Now let's get into it. Let's talk about the first mistake: ignoring light leaks. This is something many older women quietly deal with but rarely discuss: light bladder leakage. It's not the sort of thing we bring up at book club or casually mention over lunch with friends, but it's far more common than most people think. And no, I'm not referring to full-blown accidents that send you rushing to the bathroom. I mean those small, unexpected leaks. When you laugh too hard at a joke, sneeze during allergy season, or twist a little too quickly while carrying in the groceries. For years, I brushed it off as nothing serious. It's just a one-time thing, I'd tell myself. Or, maybe I drank too much green tea this morning. But gradually, those little leaks added up. And I began noticing something I couldn't ignore: a faint, lingering odor that seemed to follow me, no matter how often I cleaned myself or changed clothes. At first, I blamed everything else: my detergent, my age, even the fabric on my favorite armchair. But deep down, I knew there was more to it. It never occurred to me that the source of the problem might be hiding in my undergarments. The truth is, even a tiny amount of urine from those light leaks can seep into your underwear, your pants, or even onto your furniture if you're not paying close attention. And if you're anything like me, you've probably tossed your clothes over the back of a chair or hung them back in the closet thinking, "They're fine, I'll wear them again tomorrow." But that's exactly where the trouble begins. Even a small bit of moisture can create the perfect environment for bacteria to grow, and where there's bacteria, there's odor. What makes things more complicated is that as we get older, our sense of smell often becomes less sharp. That means we might not notice the odor ourselves, but others around us likely do. I'll never forget one particular family gathering. I was chatting with relatives when my daughter-in-law gently suggested I change my sweater. She said it smelled a bit like the couch. I was mortified. But honestly, it was a moment I needed. It made me aware of something I had overlooked for too long. Doctors are clear. Even occasional bladder leaks shouldn't be ignored. It's not just a minor inconvenience. It affects your hygiene, your self-respect, and your sense of comfort in social situations. The good news is that you don't have to completely change your lifestyle to manage this. There are simple solutions that make a real difference. Moisture-wicking underwear, designed specifically for light bladder leaks, or even ultra-thin incontinence liners, can be game changers. They're comfortable, discreet, and easy to incorporate into your daily routine. Once I started using liners, It felt like I got a part of myself back. I could hug someone without second guessing. I could sit through a long event without wondering if I smelled off. It brought back a sense of quiet confidence that I hadn't realized I'd lost. And let's be honest, it can feel uncomfortable to admit you need a product like that. I know that feeling all too well. But what's truly uncomfortable is not knowing that others may notice something you don't. If only someone had told me years ago, "Hey, this is normal, and you can manage it easily," I would have made changes much sooner. So now I'm telling you, don't ignore those little leaks. Use the right tools to protect your confidence, your hygiene, and your peace of mind. Now, let's talk about mistake number 2, using the wrong soaps. For years, I believed that staying clean meant scrubbing my skin with the strongest, most fragrant soap I could find. My bathroom shelf looked like a rainbow of supermarket body washes: Lavender Bliss, Coconut Paradise, Ocean Mist, you name it. My logic was simple. If it smelled strong and left me feeling squeaky clean, it had to be doing its job, right? But I couldn't have been more wrong. It took me years to figure out that those heavily perfumed soaps were actually making things worse, especially as I got older. Aging changes our skin in ways that can be easy to overlook. It becomes thinner, drier, and much more sensitive, especially in the intimate areas we often scrub without a second thought. Menopause changed everything. The strong, fragrance-heavy soaps I had loved for years were actually doing harm. They were stripping away the skin's natural protective oils, especially in delicate areas, leaving it dry, irritated, and more vulnerable than I ever realized. Even worse, those soaps were disrupting my body's natural pH balance, creating an environment where bacteria could easily grow. That's when the odors started creeping in. And not because I wasn't clean, far from it, but my skin was losing a quiet battle beneath the surface. I remember one day in particular, I had just stepped out of the shower, feeling fresh and squeaky clean. But by lunchtime, there it was again, that faint, musty scent I couldn't quite get rid of. It made no sense. I was doing everything I thought I was supposed to, lathering up with floral-scented body wash and scrubbing as if I were cleaning a stubborn pan. But my good intentions were only making things worse. It wasn't until a frank conversation with my doctor that everything finally clicked. She explained that as we age, our skin, especially in sensitive areas, needs a gentler approach. What I had thought was helping me stay clean was actually causing irritation and imbalance. Her advice was simple, but it changed everything. Switch to a mild, unscented soap, or in some cases, just use warm water. I'll admit, I was skeptical at first. Warm water? That's it? No lather, no scent, no suds? But I gave it a try. I swapped my beloved Tropical Breeze body wash for a fragrance-free, hypoallergenic cleanser. Within just a week, I started noticing real change. My skin felt calmer, less reactive. That midday odor I'd grown used to? Gone. I no longer needed to freshen up throughout the day or mask myself with perfume. The relief was both physical and emotional. It was a powerful lesson. Sometimes the key to smelling fresh isn't about adding more scent. It's about removing the things that are secretly making it worse. If you're still reaching for those heavily perfumed soaps, trust me, your skin will thank you for choosing less. If you're still here with me, finding these insights helpful, I'd love to know you're watching. Feel free to comment 1 below so I know you're still along for this journey. Your time means a lot to me. Now let's talk about another mistake that often goes unnoticed. Forgetting to change liners and pads regularly. If you use liners or pads, whether it's for light bladder leakage, post-menopausal changes, or simply a bit of added comfort, this one's important. For a long time, I would slip a liner into my underwear in the morning and never think about it again for the rest of the day. My reasoning? If it didn't feel wet, it must still be fine, right? I always assumed the liner was still good to go. After all, it felt dry, and honestly, those things aren't cheap. Who wants to go through a whole pack in just 1 week? But what I didn't realize was this. Even if a liner or pad feels dry to the touch, it's still quietly collecting moisture throughout the day. Tiny amounts add up. That warm, moist environment becomes the ideal place for bacteria to grow. And with bacteria, sooner or later, comes odor. For a while, I couldn't figure out why. By evening, I'd start to notice a faint, sour smell, especially after a busy day out running errands or spending time with friends. It crept in slowly, but consistently. I found myself growing self-conscious, hesitating before hugging someone or leaning in close to chat in a crowded room. I'd discreetly sniff my clothes, check my jacket, even wonder if my deodorant was to blame. But it wasn't until I brought it up with my doctor that I finally understood what was going on. She explained something simple, yet game-changing. Even if your liner doesn't seem soaked, it should still be changed every few hours. This isn't about being wasteful. It's about protecting your skin and stopping odor before it starts. Bacteria aren't waiting for your liner to look full. They're already thriving in that hidden dampness. Once I switched to a more consistent changing routine, I noticed a dramatic difference. I also discovered reusable, washable liners. Not only were they easier on my wallet, but they were much gentler on my skin. I started keeping a small zip pouch in my purse with a few clean ones inside, so I could discreetly switch them out while I was at work or out with friends. That sour scent that used to trail me by the end of the day? Gone. I felt fresh, comfortable, and confident from morning to night. So, if you're still wearing the same liner from breakfast until bedtime, it might be time to rethink that habit. Your skin deserves better care, and once you make the change, you'll feel the difference too. It's remarkable how much more at ease you become when you know you smell clean. For years, I thought I had cracked the code on comfort. My underwear drawer was full of those soft, stretchy synthetic panties you see in just about every department store. They were affordable, didn't ride up, and came in every cute color and pattern you could imagine. What more could you ask for, right? But gradually, I began to notice something unsettling. No matter how often I showered or changed my clothes, I still felt a bit damp and uncomfortable down there, even on cooler days when sweating wasn't an issue. Worse, there was this faint but persistent odor that seemed to cling to me no matter how hard I tried to stay fresh. I kept wondering what was causing that lingering odor. I tried changing my detergent. I adjusted my diet. I even blamed the body spray I was using. But nothing helped. It wasn't until a visit to my doctor that I finally got an answer that made everything click. The culprit? My synthetic underwear. It turns out that fabrics like polyester or nylon, though soft and fashionable, are terrible when it comes to breathability. They might look cute in the drawer, but they trap heat and moisture against the skin, creating the ideal environment for bacteria to thrive. And if you're dealing with light bladder leakage or natural age-related changes like dryness or skin sensitivity, that trapped moisture becomes even more of a problem. My doctor's advice was surprisingly straightforward but incredibly eye-opening. Switch to cotton. Always cotton. At first, I was skeptical. Cotton underwear? It sounded old-fashioned, like something my grandmother would have worn. Plain, boring, definitely not stylish. I rolled my eyes a bit but figured I had nothing to lose. So I cleaned out my drawer and replaced my synthetic pairs with a fresh set of 100% cotton underwear in simple, neutral tones. And honestly, the difference was immediate. Cotton is naturally breathable. It absorbs moisture and allows air to circulate, keeping the area dry, cool, and comfortable. That sticky, damp feeling that used to show up halfway through the day? Gone. My laundry even smelled fresher, and I felt a sense of ease I hadn't realized was missing. Over time, I even discovered cotton styles that were flattering and comfortable, just as much as my old ones. I didn't have to give up looking good to feel good. It was proof that you don't have to choose between style and function. If you're still hanging on to those shiny, stretchy panties simply because they're familiar or budget-friendly, let me gently suggest something. Your skin, your sense of smell, and your self-confidence deserve better. Making the switch to cotton may seem like a small step, but the impact it has is anything but small. Comfort without odor? That never goes out of style. If you're still here and finding these lessons helpful, I'd love to know you're still watching. Just leave a 2 in the comments. Thank you for sharing this time with me. Now let's talk about something that seems unrelated, but plays a huge role in staying fresh: not drinking enough water. For years, I was completely convinced that drinking less water was a clever trick to manage my day more smoothly. My logic was, in hindsight, embarrassingly simple. If I drank less, I'd need fewer bathroom breaks. That meant fewer interruptions, fewer awkward moments during outings, and less worry during long drives or social events. At the time, it felt like a practical solution. Especially as I got older and began noticing occasional bladder sensitivity, I thought, less water in, less urgency out. Simple logic, right? In my mind, it seemed like a foolproof strategy to stay in control, minimize interruptions, and avoid awkward or embarrassing moments, whether I was at a family gathering, out shopping, or socializing with friends. What I didn't realize, though, was that this approach was quietly working against me. I thought I was being smart, but in truth, I was creating problems I never saw coming. Cutting back on water didn't just make me thirsty, it subtly affected how my entire body functioned. And one of the most unexpected consequences? It began to impact my personal hygiene in ways I hadn't anticipated. I started to notice changes in my urine, both in color and smell. Without enough water to dilute it, my urine became darker, sometimes even a deep amber. But it wasn't just the color that changed. It developed a strong, sharp, and almost sour odor that lingered. I couldn't ignore it. And worse, neither could anyone else if it seeped into my clothing or surroundings. And here's something that caught me off guard. Concentrated urine doesn't just stay in your bladder. Even a tiny leak from laughing too hard, coughing unexpectedly, or just moving the wrong way could leave behind an odor that clung to my clothes, to my skin, even to my favorite chair. I chalked it up to aging. I thought, maybe this is just what getting older smells like. I started resigning myself to that idea, quietly believing my body was betraying me in a way I couldn't fix. I became more self-conscious. I'd check my clothes often, lean away during hugs, and sometimes avoid close contact altogether, just to ease the anxiety. But deep down, I knew this wasn't the way I wanted to live. That's when I decided to make a small change, to see if drinking a bit more water throughout the day could actually help. And the result? Honestly, it felt almost miraculous. I didn't start guzzling gallons. I simply made it a habit to sip water steadily. Just a glass here, a glass there. Within a few days, my urine became noticeably lighter in color. That sharp, lingering odor. It began to fade. But that wasn't all. My skin, which had started to look dull and dehydrated, began to regain some of its glow. I felt less sluggish, more energized, as though my body had been waiting for this basic act of kindness. What surprised me most was how such a small habit, something as simple as drinking more water, had the power to transform how I looked, felt, and even how I smelled. It wasn't just about thirst. It was about flushing out what my body no longer needed, gently and effectively. Thirst isn't just a signal that your mouth is dry. It's your body asking for help. Drinking water plays a vital role in keeping your kidneys working efficiently. It helps flush toxins out of your system, keeps your urinary tract healthy, and ensures that waste doesn't build up in ways that affect everything from energy levels to body odor. It's like giving your body a gentle internal rinse, helping everything stay clean and function the way it should. Now I know the hesitation. If you're someone who's already dealing with bladder sensitivity or worried about frequent bathroom trips, staying hydrated can feel like a gamble. But what I've learned is this. With a little planning, you can drink enough water without compromising your comfort or confidence. For example, using absorbent liners, setting regular times for bathroom breaks, or incorporating a few pelvic floor exercises into your routine. These small strategies can make all the difference. The truth is, denying your body water is like withholding something essential. like air or sleep. It's not just about hygiene or appearances. It's about supporting your health, boosting your comfort, and feeling like the best version of yourself. So go ahead, pour that extra glass of water. Your body will thank you in subtle and powerful ways, ways you might never expect until you feel the change for yourself. Let's move to something a bit more personal: sitting too long without washing up. After I retired, my daily routine shifted dramatically. Life slowed down in the best way. I had the luxury of lingering with a novel for hours, catching up on shows I'd missed, or losing myself in crossword puzzles over my morning coffee. Some days, I stayed in my cozy nightgown well into the afternoon, simply enjoying the comfort of not having to be anywhere. And honestly, after decades of rushing and responsibilities, it felt like a reward I'd earned. But here's what I didn't realize. This slower, more sedentary rhythm was quietly creating a problem I hadn't anticipated. One that affected not just my physical comfort, but how I felt about myself overall. When you sit for extended periods, especially in warm, snug clothing or cushy chairs, you create a kind of microclimate in your pelvic area. It's warm, humid, and far from ideal for hygiene. Without regular movement or cleansing, things start to build up. Sweat, natural skin oils, and even minor bladder leaks can linger unnoticed. Over time, that combination of moisture and warmth becomes the perfect environment for bacteria. And where bacteria grow, odors follow. Subtle at first, but persistent enough that not even the nicest body spray can truly hide them. At first, I didn't notice, and that's the tricky part. It's easy to get used to gradual changes in your own body. But over time, I realized the odor wasn't just an inconvenience. It was a constant, quiet reminder that something wasn't right. The moment everything shifted came unexpectedly. The moment that changed everything came during a visit from my granddaughter. She climbed into my lap for one of her usual cuddles, something that always warmed my heart. But this time, something unexpected happened. With the innocent honesty only a child can deliver, she wrinkled her little nose and said, "Grandma, you smell like something wet." My heart sank, not because she meant to hurt me, but because I knew deep down she was right. Her words weren't cruel. They were pure and truthful, and they struck a nerve. In that moment, I realized I had allowed myself to slip into habits that, while comfortable, had quietly chipped away at my sense of dignity. It stung, not from shame, but from awareness. I had been overlooking something that mattered. That experience served as a wake-up call. From that day forward, I began to rethink how I moved through my day. I made a promise to myself: no more long, uninterrupted stretches of sitting. Even if it's just a short walk to the kitchen to refill my water glass, or standing up to stretch for a couple of minutes in the living room. I now get up every hour or so just to keep circulation going and avoid stagnation. But more importantly, I created a simple midday hygiene routine. It doesn't take much. A gentle rinse with warm water and a soft cloth is all it takes. Just 1 minute, and the difference is remarkable. I also made it a non-negotiable habit to change into fresh clothes every single day, even if I wasn't planning to leave the house. Those clean clothes aren't for anyone else. They're for me. For how I feel, for how I carry myself. These little adjustments restored something deeper than just physical freshness. They gave me back a sense of self-respect that I hadn't realized I'd been neglecting. This isn't about vanity or trying to impress anyone. It's about self-care that feels dignified and intentional. Your body, at every age, deserves that kind of loving attention. Even on those lazy, cozy days when staying in pajamas feels so tempting. If you're still watching and finding these lessons helpful, I'd love to know you're still here with me. Just drop a 3 in the comments below. Your time means so much to me. Now let's talk about something we often overlook in everyday life: our laundry routine. And I don't mean sheets or towels. I'm talking about the intimate items. The underwear, the lounge pants, the nightgowns we wear over and over again because they're comfortable and, well, they don't look dirty. I'll be honest, I used to be a bit relaxed in this area. If my nightgown or a pair of pants didn't have any visible stains or strong odors, I'd assume they were still good to wear again. Why add more to the laundry pile, especially on days when I was just relaxing at home? It seemed like a reasonable choice. After all, if I wasn't going out or doing anything too active, how dirty could they really get? But over time, I started to notice that my body and my clothes weren't playing by the same rules anymore. Even when my garments looked perfectly clean, they began to carry a faint, lingering odor after just a few hours of wear. It wasn't overwhelming, but it was there, and it was enough to make me pause. I'd put on what I thought was a clean pair of pants, only to catch a subtle scent by mid-morning that made me stop and ask, is that me or my clothes? As it turns out, the answer was often both. Doctors and hygiene experts have explained something I wish I'd learned sooner. Bacteria from sweat, from even the smallest bladder leaks, and from our skin's natural oils can get trapped in the fabrics we wear, especially those close to the body. And they don't always come out easily. Tight-fitting or synthetic materials like polyester or spandex may feel soft and stretchy, but they come with a downside. These fabrics don't allow your skin to breathe the way cotton does. They trap heat, moisture, and bacteria close to your body, creating the perfect environment for odors to build up over time. And the issue only gets worse if you're not washing these items thoroughly. Standard laundry routines, especially when using cold water or mild detergent, often aren't enough to eliminate deeply embedded bacteria or lingering odors. So even when your clothes come out looking clean, they might still carry a faint, musty smell. That smell can follow you throughout the day, clinging to your body and undermining the feeling of freshness you should get after a shower. I remember wondering why, despite all my hygiene efforts, I still didn't feel fully clean. It was frustrating. Eventually, I decided to take a closer look at my laundry habits, and that's when it clicked. My clothes were part of the problem. So I gave my routine a complete overhaul. Now, I'm much more intentional. I separate out my underwear, lounge pants, and nightgowns from the rest of my laundry. I wash them in hot water, not warm or cold, and I always add a splash of white vinegar to the cycle. That little step helps neutralize odors and kill bacteria that might otherwise survive. Just as important, I make sure everything is thoroughly dried. Even slightly damp clothes can quickly develop that musty smell we all dread. And no matter how clean something looks or smells, I never rewear these garments without washing them first. Ever. Yes, it takes a bit more effort. It's a few extra loads, a few extra minutes, but the reward is more than worth it. There's a certain quiet confidence that comes from knowing, without a doubt, that your clothes are clean, that you smell fresh, and that you're putting your best self forward. This isn't just about hygiene. It's about feeling in control, about honoring your body, and about showing up every day with self-respect. A little extra care in the laundry room really can change the way you feel throughout the day. It did for me. Ladies, we've just walked through a powerful set of insights, practical tips that can help you feel clean, confident, and truly comfortable in your golden years. From managing light bladder leaks with the right underwear, to choosing gentle, unscented soaps, staying properly hydrated, and refreshing your laundry routine, these 7 habits are simple but impactful. Each one is about empowering you to take ownership of your hygiene and feel your absolute best every single day. I hope this video has opened your eyes to some changes that are easy to make, but that carry real weight in how you move through life. I'd truly love to hear from you. What's one takeaway from today's video that you're excited to try? Maybe it's switching to breathable cotton underwear. Maybe it's changing your liner more often or finally committing to drinking more water during the day. If you're inspired to make even one small change, whether it's switching to cotton underwear, setting a reminder to stand up more often, or simply pouring yourself that extra glass of water, drop it in the comments below. Let's support each other by sharing our stories, our tips, and the small habits that are making a big difference in our daily lives. You never know who might be encouraged by your words. If you found this video helpful, please take a moment to leave a comment and let me know what resonated with you most. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more honest, practical, and heartfelt advice made especially for women navigating their golden years with grace and strength. Remember, taking care of your body isn't about chasing perfection. It's about showing yourself the care, dignity, and respect you deserve every single day. It's never too late to feel clean, confident, and completely at home in your own skin. Wishing you good health, true happiness, and lasting peace. And don't forget to subscribe to Healthy Aging Blueprint for more empowering content made just for you.